Go to like page 126. 126. What's that? You don't have 126? Yeah, yeah, blank. I want it to be a blank page. Yeah. That was. Is this on? Are we on? Are we not? Are you there? Okay, couple things. If you have your quiz, if you have the quiz corrections, this is what I want you to do. If you did it on loose leaf, I want you to insert it inside the quiz, right? It's kind of like a booklet, and then just drop it in this bin. The ACs, the 4 ACs that I basically will collect tomorrow, which will give you bonus marks up to 5%. Those I will collect a little later because I'm going to use class time to do those, okay? So if you don't have those 4 ACs, you want to come and grab them in this order and staple them once you're done. There's my stapler right there. You want to staple them because when I mark it, I don't want to have pages all over the place. Okay? All right. And so we're going to have some work done today. Doesn't happen very often, so take advantage of it when you get it. Okay, so we're going to go to 126. Somewhere, if you don't have 126, if it ripped off, just find a blank page. And so I'm just going to do a test checklist here real quick. What do you need to know for the test? Hey, negotiations there. All right. So mortgages. What are mortgages? They're really fancy. It's a same thing as a loan. Okay. When it comes to mortgages, you need to know how to calculate the payment, how to calculate the total interest, how to calculate interest and principal on first month's payment. Right? So these are formulas you should have on your study sheet. For the payment, what do you need? You need the table. You need a table. So either the pink one that I provided you with, or I will just have it kind of like a screenshot of it on the test. No, but bring your pink charts. That's very important. You also need to know how to lower interest paid. How to lower your payment itself. Like we talked about all those things, and there should be something on your study sheet telling you that, right? How do you do that? I can't reteach everything. We'd be here for a very long time. Okay, so mortgages and loans, that's what you need to know. You also need to know your GDSR, right? If it's 32% and up, this is bad, not approved. 32%, lower than 32% is good. And you also need to know ways of reducing. How can you reduce the GDSR? Okay, you need to know that. So that's another bullet there. I would say amortization tables. I'm gonna tell you right up front that you're not gonna have a full-blown like 3 rows amortization table. 1 or 2 rows, that's about it. So if you know how to do the first row, you just continue that. You should be good to go on that. Okay. You should be comfortable with partial or full. Okay. You should be able to do some of it or just a full on completely blank. You start from scratch. So you need to be comfortable with that. You should have some pros and cons for either owning or renting. Okay, this is not just for the test, this is also for the exam, right? So you're building your study sheet. You should be able to calculate insurance. This is the tenant or owners, okay? Owner's insurance. You should be able to tell me what is a deductible, right? Some keywords would be deductible, right? Have your formula. There's just one formula really for both of them. Sometimes you go over the max, sometimes you don't. What's the max for tenant insurance? 75K. So, help yourself out. The table has it. Homeowner, 200,000. Help yourself out. Like, give yourself as much information so that, a month from now you look at it, you're like, okay, I remember that. So if I give you a question with tenant insurance that's less than 75 or even 75, you don't have to worry about overage, right? That complicated part of the formula. If I give you a homeowner's insurance that's less than 200K or exactly 200K, it's okay. Then you don't have to worry about overage. So remember that. What else have we done? Property taxes. If there's a mill rate, what does that mean? You should have a dollar amount over 1,000. If you have a mill rate, you need to divide that by 1,000. You got to remember that. We usually go PA, portioned assessment, times mill divided by 1,000, right? Portioned assessment is total value. Anybody remember? What do you pay taxes on? But the amount of your property, it's only 45% of your property. Okay, so it's always 0.45. This, right? Only if required. Do not multiply if it's already saying portioned assessment. Don't go ahead and multiply that by 45% again. Right? You just do it if it's required. The key number to look for is if the question says something about 45%, chances are you're gonna have to figure it out, right? Like if that's how the province has done it historically speaking. If it's like, hey, the house is worth 300,000 and the portion assessment is 45% of the property, hint, hint, you're gonna have to perform this step. If it's not If it doesn't, if it already gives you the portion assessment, just go ahead and multiply it by the mill rate. You could have education, municipal, improvements. Improvements is based on frontage, correct? All kinds of sounds when the doors are open. Eh? So you go education plus municipal plus improvement minus a potential credit. That's how you essentially figure out your property taxes. And you might need you might need it to be a bit more specific, right? I'm just kind of glancing over what you're supposed to know. Know some one-time versus ongoing expenses or costs. Know the difference between preventative maintenance versus emergency repairs. Give me 2 examples of preventative maintenance that you can do around the house. Don't tell me cut the grass. I've seen that. Cut the grass, like, don't, yeah. Changing furnace filters regularly, yes. Clean the gutters. Check your sump pump regularly. I would say spring, but it doesn't hurt checking it more often. Make sure the grading is away from your house, right? I don't know if you look around your house, some of you might have this happening, right? It's caving in towards the house. Fill it in with dirt, right? Make it flow away from you. Yeah. Cleaning your air vents, yes. Cleaning the vents, the ducts, yeah. It's pretty gross when you look into some of those. I should probably clean mine. You should probably get it done professionally. You can only reach so far. They can get everywhere. Emergency repairs. So emergency repairs would be more like you've been neglecting. You haven't been going up to your roof and checking your shingles, and a tap is maybe missing and whatnot, and now it's getting worse and worse and worse. Now the attic is like full of mold because if water accumulates and it just sits there, mold will start to develop, and now you have to replace all the insulation. You have to redo your roof. It's just more costly that way. If you don't change the filter, eventually you're going to have to replace your furnace when it's most needed. So emergency repairs are caused by you neglecting preventative maintenance. Okay, so just have a couple, especially preventative, have a couple. One time would be your land transfer tax, which is my next topic here. Land transfer tax. Don't forget about that one. I think, honestly, a lot of you know what to do, but you make a mistake right here. Like when it's the 30K, 0%, right? Then it's the next 60K, it's 0.5%, but what is that as a decimal? 0.005. So some of you are getting that wrong. The next 60K is 1%, 0.01, because I'm not giving you the decimals, I'm just giving you the percentages. So if you need to write this down, oh yeah, this is okay. I thought I was, so this is 1.5% at 0.015, and then anything above that gets 2%, right? 2%, which is 0.02. Some of you might even benefit from just saying, hey, this would be 300, 600, 750, right? So having the first couple, but that's not necessary. That's just above and beyond. What else should I warn you about? Pros and cons. We talked about renting, owning. we can maybe just take a moment, right? What is an advantage of owning a home? What's that? You can have pets, yeah. Yeah. That would be good enough. You can have dogs. You build equity. You may renovate at will or whenever you want to. You don't have to ask your landlord. You can stay as long as you want. Yeah, yeah. You can drill, hang whatever you want on the walls, sure. Renting advantages, lower startup costs, no property tax, no land transfer tax. Yeah. Utilities may be included. It's easier to relocate. Insurance is cheaper. Why is insurance cheaper? You're only covering your items, yeah, perils, valuables, you name it. Is this it, guys? As far as I know, this is it. In a nutshell, right? And then every topic has like different categories within it. And so this is it, and I'm just gonna add some trig. So sine law, cosine law, I'm not gonna tell you. So review trig. Review trig. So be ready for that. You should be ready for that. Okay. I'm gonna pause there. If I have anything else to add, I will do that. The booklet, I just added a bunch of worksheets. So starting on page 113, go to 113 real quick here. And this is just to kind of refresh your memory. You have mortgage payments. So everything that has to do with mortgage payments. The answer key, if you just keep flipping, at the bottom of 114, you've got the answer keys right there. Okay? So that's something for you to review mortgage payments. On 115, you've got the good old amortization tables. Okay? So if you want to practice amortization tables, there it is. I would say this, if you don't want to do all 4 rows, do the first 2. If your answer at the end of the second row matches mine, move on. Okay, then you're good. But if you like the challenge of doing all 4, you go for it. I have this chart on 116, right? Amortization period. If you increase it, if you increase your amortization period, what would happen to the monthly payment? It would actually go down. So I would write down decrease here, okay, and so forth. And then there's a partially filled in amortization table. Be ready to do that. This is just adding and subtracting, folks. That's all you're doing there. Okay, you're not finding the payment. Then there's some property taxes. You have some land transfer tax questions there. Various amounts. And last but not least, you've got home insurance. So that is also, I will see if I have the actually worked out key for this, but the answers, usually if you just keep scanning, you'll find them, okay? But your first task is to do those 4 ACs, and if you're done that, you start on this, okay?